Nicole. The Grand Bahama Utility Company working diligently to restore city water for residents. And our team on the ground in Abaco spoke to residents about how they fared during Nicole. The Bahamas Tonight, the Northern Edition, starts now.
This is the Bahamas Tonight, Northern Edition.
Good evening and welcome to the Bahamas Tonight, the Northern Edition. I'm Ramiko Knowles. Thank you so much for tuning in. Topping news tonight, the acting Prime Minister, the Honorable I. Chester Cooper, arriving on Grand Bahama this afternoon to begin an assessment exercise in the wake of Hurricane Nicole. The nation's second in command toured the island of Abaco earlier this morning, then flew into Grand Bahama to meet with other government officials and agencies at the Emergency Operations Center housed at the C.A. Smith building. After initial assessments, Cooper expressed his gratitude that both islands fared well during Nicole.
No serious injuries, no loss of life. I've had occasion to speak with the Minister for Grand Bahama earlier today, who gave a snapshot of the visits, along with the honorable senators across the island of Grand Bahama. And I am delighted to hear that you've also fared very well in Grand Bahama. No serious injuries, no loss of life. And for that, I once again proclaim that God is good.
He also thanked local government and the multiple agencies for their leadership and support during such a time. Also on hand, the Minister of State for Disaster Reconstruction Authority and the Minister of State in the Office of the Prime Minister, the Honorable Miles LaRota, giving the government's commitment to both islands.
You demonstrate Administrator Campbell, Director Campbell, and his team across the Family Islands demonstrate the importance of local government in all of these islands, because it's simply impossible for central government to manage an archipelago of 700 islands, 16 major destinations, 30 airports across the Bahamas. So I say a special thank you to the team, all of the persons on the ground, administrators. I say thank you to everyone who participated in the EOC PS. Of course, the Minister for Grand Bahama, thank you for your leadership.
We know that this community, as Abaco, is still reeling from the effects of Dorian. The Disaster Reconstruction Authority has opened a warehouse. We will commence delivery of equipment and some renovation shortly. We know that time we'll have to speed up because we have a compounded situation. We will deal with each island individually, knowing that we cannot in one day have a full assessment as to what damages and needs are. But I will allocate at least one day next week to deal with the issues in Grand Bahama. We're dealing with the West and in the East, and also with Abaco.
Now we will have a detailed report on the acting Prime Minister's visit to Grand Bahama and his assessment tour on our next newscast. In other news, hours after the passage of Hurricane Nicole, government officials have hit the ground running to begin assessing different areas on the island. The first stop of the day for the Minister for Grand Bahama, the Honorable Ginger Moxie, was West Grand Bahama, which was heavily impacted by the Category 1 storm. Our Aja Quant met Minister Moxie and her delegation at the Fishing Hole Road Bridge, where they began their journey into West End. Here's that report.
Just a few hours ago, parts of this causeway connecting West Grand Bahama to the city was submerged underwater, but now it is all cleared, as you can see. The Minister for Grand Bahama, the Honorable Ginger Moxie, Senators Kirkland Russell and James Turner, and a host of other officials all gathering here first to assess the damage caused by Tropical Storm Nicole. Slightly high winds, swells, and debris is what is left following then Hurricane Nicole's passage. Minister Moxie and officials making their way through the 8 Mile Rock community, visiting the administrator's office, and then transitioning into the West End settlement, noting that Grand Bahama fared well.
We're really excited about what we see here because, you know, Grand Bahama, we've just been going through it for a very long time. And so based on the initial assessment, I can safely say that we we have done pretty well.
The Emergency Operating Center was up and running during the storm with several government agencies involved. Minister Moxie speaking to the importance of all the offices working together to ensure the safety of residents here on the island.
I believe we came together as normal to ensure that, first of all, our residents were safe. All agencies, other regulatory bodies, we came together in our EOC, and we were able to effectively navigate this system. Of course, having the weather department with the frequent updates was important. Being able to have ZNS and the other media assisting us with getting the word out there to the public to stay indoors and to actually evacuate in some areas. That was important, and so we're happy that everyone came together really to ensure, first of all, that our people were safe.
West Grand Bahama was a major concern for those agencies, making it a focal point in the assessment tour. Administrator Ricardo Ferguson says the entire settlement is up and running and ready to move forward. The area sustained flooding, and both Minister Moxie and Administrator Ferguson say they are looking into a long-term solution for that issue.
We need to put in proper drainage so that what you see behind here, persons will not have to experience.
We also need to build additional sea walls. That is actually a part of the budget. And so we're focused really on resiliency.
Now, as you can see, the beautiful Grand Bahama team is already on the ground here in West End, cleaning up the debris left by Tropical Storm Nicole. For the Bahamas Tonight, the Northern Edition, I'm Azra Quant.
Now, following the assessment tour in Freeport, Minister Moxie and her delegation then made their way to East Grand Bahama to begin assessments in that area. The minister says her and the team ensured that there were proper provisions made to protect the residents in the area during this hurricane.
There was some moderate flooding in the roads, but if you were in a 4x4 trucks, you could get by. Of course, the roofs that were already compromised suffered a little more, but overall, the news is good. No one got hurt. Everyone is in up spirits, and everybody intends to go on. So we thank God for that.
Senator Kirkland Russell also accompanying the minister on the tour today and revealed that now their team is moving to carry out recovery and repair efforts.
We did everything that we could. We sent out the warnings. We made preparations to be able to bring people into the mainland.
We have done what was necessary as far as managing the shelters, evacuating, ensuring that the EOC was properly manned and the operation was at the highest standard. Now we shift into recovery and repair.
Switching gears now, the Director of Communications for the Grand Bahama Power Company is reporting a low percentage of power outages during the passing of Hurricane Nicole. Once the all-clear was given, she says crews were immediately dispatched to those areas experiencing those outages.
Have some pocket and small outages, isolated outages. So we want to help our customers to understand how our restoration efforts are going to go. What we usually do is we attempt to get the biggest bang for our efforts. That means that the areas that are impacting the larger amount of customers, we will attempt to restore those areas first so that we can ensure that we're able to get a large number of customers on.
Now, there were reports of outages in the east and western part of Grand Bahama and throughout the island. The Director of Communications says restoration is anticipated to be fairly quick. However, if there are any challenges, they will update customers via their social media page.
What we often like to also tell our customers is that our crews will go out and they will make an attempt or they will make an assessment. From that assessment, depending on how severe the damage might be to the infrastructure, that's what sometimes causes delays. So we'll know that individuals will say, well, I don't see them in my area. They may not be on your street, they may not be in your direct area, but they may be within the area addressing the infrastructure that services that area.
And for those customers who may be experiencing those isolated outages, she says there is no timeline on when their power will be restored, but she assures that it will be addressed.
So the isolated outages could take any time from they can be on the first batch of restoration, as well as maybe sometime later today or this evening. One thing I want to do is I want to thank all of the customers who would have listened to the broadcast last night and would have logged their isolated outages with us on social media. We won't have an exact timeline on any of those customers presently. I don't want to mismanage their expectations, but I assure them that we will do our best to get all of the customers rectified as safely and quickly as we possibly can.
Now, as some residents lost running water during Hurricane Nicole, the Grand Bahama Utility Company quickly responding to those who were without water after the company's $5 million reverse osmosis system was compromised by the storm. We visited one of the company's well fields today to get an update on the progress of the water restoration. Simone Davis reports.
Following the passage of Hurricane Nicole, the Grand Bahama Utility Company has been working to resolve issues with its reverse osmosis system, which was compromised as a result of the Category 1 storm. Chief Operating Officer at GBUC, Filcher Grant Adderley, says the RO system took a hit and teams have been on the ground since 10 p.m. conducting assessments amidst the storm to ensure that residents impacted by the storm would not be without water for a long period of time.
It's been a very long night for the GBUC team. Our teams were in the field doing assessments as soon as the winds died down to acceptable levels. We started at 10 o'clock at our W6, where, as you know, we put out some information about our reverse osmosis system being impacted. Early on, as the wind started to pick up, we saw some hits on the system. Now, again, it's a $5 million investment. It's very sensitive equipment. And so our guys were out there manning the plants, trying to keep that RO as long as it was safely clean. But again, we have a responsibility to ensure that after the storm passes, the operational of the equipment is still in functional position so that we can provide water to the island after the storm has passed. We made a decision to take it offline to safeguard the equipment.
GBUC has been working closely with the Grand Bahama Power Company, conducting these assessments to be able to produce city water for residents. The COO confirms that while they conducted a controlled shutdown of their RO system, some of their water plants are still on backup generation, but some customers may experience lower water pressure until water is fully restored.
We took the RO offline, but our other plants were still operational, so we didn't lose complete water to the city. We had a lot of customers impacted, in particular with lower pressures. The reason why we lower the pressure is because when we're on gensets or we lose our biggest well field, we have to maintain tank levels. If the tanks run dry, we'll be in a situation where it could be almost a period of 2 to 3 days before we can have water back to the city. So when we say lower pressures, it's because we have to lower the pressures to be able to preserve the tank levels. When we got out, we saw what we expected to see in storms of this nature. We saw a lot of trees down. We saw a lot of impact to our well fields with lines being down. With Dorian weakening the forestry, we knew that there were a lot of dead trees still there, even though we do have a vegetation maintenance program. And so we expected to see that, and that's exactly what we saw. Some of the things that impacted the ability for us to produce on city power.
Adderley explaining exactly why it was necessary to restore water, but at a lower pressure.
So we're still working with GBPC to restore city power to some of our plants. And again, we have to run conservatively because we have to maintain our tank levels. And so until we get the tank levels back to where they need to be, we're going to continue to send low pressure out in the city. Once we get our tank levels to comfortable levels, we'll increase the pressure and people will see what they saw before we had the storm event.
As the GBUC teams are still in the field, customers are reminded to continue to conserve water as much as possible during this time. For the Bahamas Tonight, the Northern Edition, I'm Simone Davis.
In other news, the District Superintendent of Education for Grand Bahama, Bimini, and the Keys, Ivan Butler, providing an update on the conditions of schools in the Northern Bahamas.
But our schools fared well. We had minimal damage to our schools. It was mainly water in our schools. And if the decision is made to have our students back in school by tomorrow, our schools in Grand Bahama, Bimini, and Grand Key, we are ready and able and willing to accept our students in the morning.
Well, some good news for residents of Grand Bahama now that the all clear has been given for Grand Bahama, Abaco, and the Berry Islands after the passage of Hurricane Nicole. The Fishing Hole Road Bridge is back in operations after being shut down due to some flooding during the storm. The official announcement coming from the police this morning. The police is advising residents as they traverse the streets to assess their homes and businesses and to drive with extreme caution, as there may still be minor flooding and debris in certain areas. Meanwhile, Lucaya Service Company Limited wishes to advise the motoring public that the Casuarina Bridge have reclosed effective today. The bridge will remain closed to facilitate ongoing bridge construction repairs and to ensure the safety of the workers until the bridge repairs are completed. The motoring public is requested to continue to utilize the Sir Jack Haywood Bridge to access all Eastern Island properties. And when we come back, our ZNS News team on the ground in Abaco and on an assessment tour with the acting Prime Minister and speaking with a few residents about how they prepared for Hurricane Nicole with the lessons learned from Hurricane Dorian. That story and more when the Bahamas Tonight, the Northern Edition, returns.
Come on down now. Come on down now.
Notice production.
The summer is back, back, back. The summer is hot.
It's the coconut got this. Cocoa skin driven madness. Juiciness ice the back. This sweet like sugar in a dripping like ice honey. Addict, all the men love me. Sweet like sugar in a
flavored beers with a kick of rum. Make it platinum.
The Festival of Pizzas has arrived at Pizza Hut Freeport. Try our chicken margarita, grilled chicken Florentine, veggie deluxe, and the carbonara. Did we mention curry chicken pizza? You can also order a large specialty pizza and get a small one-topping pizza free. Pizza Hut Freeport. Dine-in and delivery. Call us at 352-9191. Pizza Hut Freeport.
Digital bidding for government contracts is now better than ever. All business owners are encouraged to register on the new and improved e-procurement and supplies registry system to access all government contracts. Never miss another opportunity to grow your business. Registration takes just 5 minutes and gives you instant access to notifications of business opportunities and the ability to submit bids to the Bahamas government. Want to learn more? Visit moffvendors.gov.bs and register today.
In need of IT optimization, here at Network Access Solutions, we offer a wide range of network solutions for you. From business automation to security and surveillance systems, network installation, wireless access points, computer repair, virus removal, data backup, and much, much more. With more than 20 years experience in the business, Network Access Solutions keeps our clients on the cutting edge. Kids back at school or schooling at home, whatever the case, we've got the right gear for the student in your life. 7 and 10-inch tablets, laptops, desktops, wireless accessories, headphones, flash drives. Network Access Solutions has got it all. Located in the 17th Center Plaza, call us today at 602-6657 or visit our website at www.networkaccesssolutions.com. And don't forget to check us out on Facebook and Instagram. Open 9 to 5, Monday through Saturday. Network Access Solutions, powered by innovation. Quality service you deserve, excellence you can trust.
Your #1 news team covering the North. The Bahamas Tonight, Northern Edition.
Welcome back. Before he made his way to Grand Bahama this afternoon, Acting Prime Minister, the Honorable I. Chester Cooper, traveled to Abaco to assess the island in the wake of Hurricane Nicole. Our Shane Stubbs joined the DPM and his delegation for a tour around the island and filed the details in this report.
Acting Prime Minister, the Honorable I. Chester Cooper, making his arrival here in Abaco to assess the island in the wake of Tropical Storm Nicole. And he's happy to see that the island held on strongly. Upon arrival, the acting PM and his team made their way to the government dock and then the mobile homes of displaced persons from Hurricane Dorian. Then it was on to Central Abaco High and Friendship Tabernacle Church, two of the shelters that housed hundreds during Tropical Storm Nicole.
I think having gone through Nicole, we recognize that we are a resilient people. Our infrastructure is fairly resilient as well, having not seen any serious damage or injuries or fatalities. We've looked at some of the infrastructure here. There is need for some upgrades. Paulsec, Pender, and Cornish have pointed out the need for additional investment in infrastructure. So we've started to look at some of the shelters. This church where we stand accommodated more than 200 people. We're grateful to Pastor Mills, the local community, local government. During times like these, we come together. That's what we do as Bahamians. We remember our assignment to be our brother's keeper, and I think that's how we're able to persevere.
The assessment tour then moved into North Abaco, where Member of Parliament for North Abaco Kirk Cornish, Minister of National Security Wayne Monroe, and MP for Central and South Abaco John Pinder voiced their take on the aftermath.
Yeah, what I saw was our God was good to us, and we do appreciate his blessings on our lives. It could have been worse, but however, it turned out for the better.
Seeing a lot of water. Fortunately, compared to Dorian, this must have just been a breeze. So we haven't seen much structural damage.
I know the ocean side had a tremendous amount of ocean surge, so there was a lot of dune damage and different portions of the keys that had water passing through.
Now, following the assessment, the delegation has a firmer understanding of how to help the Abaco residents move on in the future. For the Bahamas Tonight, the Northern Edition, I'm Shane Stubbs.
Now, once Nicole passed over the island of Abaco and the all-clear was given to islands in the northwest Bahamas, residents slowly started moving around. Our Shane Stubbs still on the ground in Abaco and caught up with a couple of residents to find out how they fared through the storm. One resident tells us how the dramatic experience of Dorian has taught her to always be prepared.
I was really scared. You know, I went through Dorian, and when we heard about the tropical storm, I even went and started to, you know, batten down my other business. And, you know, persons would said, it's not going to be, you know, that much of a storm. We will, you know, weather it out. But through, you know, continued prayers and, you know, I'm asking God to protect us. This morning when we came out, the only thing we could say, thank you, Lord.
Another Marsh Harbor resident says his main concern was flooding, and while Marsh Harbor did not experience flooding, he was concerned for other areas.
Praying that the people in the north of Abaco and Freeport have fared okay with the flooding. I mean, Marsh Harbor's done okay, no flooding, but those people along the coastline, from videos I've seen, have really suffered. So, because a lot of people went through a lot of hardship in Dorian, and that they get through it and get the support from family, church, and government. And it's always about preparation.
Definitely grateful that we all made it through. You're watching the Bahamas Tonight, the Northern Edition. We'll be back right after this.
For designer shoes, sandals, accessories, and handbags, visit Steppin' Out, now at 2 locations, Old Sam's Plaza, Freeport, and top of the hill Mackey Street, Nassau. Steppin' Out, when you want to put your best foot forward.
We just got the new fiber internet speed bump. Now my internet so fast I could watch 2 4K movies, play video games, and browse on my computer at the same time.
Yeah, my internet so fast I could download a whole season of shows before my noodles run cooking.
Mine so fast when I go to church online, service actually over early.
Mine so fast when I'm working from home, 5 o'clock, come before 3.
Sound like you got this BTC fiber internet speed bump like me.
And it's so fast I had to have it.
Current fiber internet bundle customers now have as much as 3 times the speed, totally free. Link up with BTC.
With over 30 years of service with integrity, services in Abaco, New Providence, and Grand Bahama, providing modern and state-of-the-art equipment, specializing in the maintenance and operation of waste treatment plants, waste oil movement, sludge extraction, tank cleaning, elite portable toilets, and hand wash stations. We are efficient, reliable, and cutting edge. We are B&B Galaxy.
Island Bedding has the biggest summer sale going on right now. Special. Comforters, mattress pads, sheets, toppers, and best of all, mattress. 35% off, 45% off, 50% off. Oh my goodness! Special, people!
Grand Bahama says now is the perfect time to do all those updates and repairs, changing your flooring or updating those windows. Now in stock at Grand Bahama are stylish ceramic plank tiles, shower floor tiles, an array of sizes in porcelain tiles, laminate and vinyl flooring, impact and PVC windows. Grand Bahama is stocked out with everything you need to enhance your beautiful home, so you enjoy life the way you should. Open Monday through Friday, 8 a.m. to 6 p.m. and Saturdays, 8 a.m. to 5 p.m.
Hey there, I'm D'Amico Nesbitt, and I'm here at the Fitness Connection, and today I'm going to give you 2 superfoods that are going to help with your overall health. Let's get right into it. Superfood number 1 is sea moss. Now, sea moss has over 90% of the vitamins and minerals that your body needs. That means it's going to help with everything. Sea moss is going to give you more energy. It can help with weight loss. It's going to help with your heart health. But more famously, it helps to get rid of mucus in the body, which is going to help to boost your immune system and keep you optimized and healthy. Superfood number 2 is beets. Beets is known as the circulation superfood. So what it does, it helps your body produce more nitrous oxide, which helps with blood flow, which is going to lower your blood pressure, give you more energy, and help with your overall heart health. And if you're interested in any of the supplements mentioned, we have them available at the Fitness Connection. We have a location in the Raven Mall and 2 in Nassau. Stop by and check us out.
Your number 1 news team covering the North. The Bahamas Tonight, Northern Edition.
Keatron Meadows, you are our Facebook friend of the day. We thank you so much for your continuing support, especially during the hurricane coverage this week. We certainly do appreciate you here in the North. And that concludes the Bahamas Tonight, the Northern Edition. On behalf of the entire news team, I'm Ramiko Knowles. Thank you so much for watching. Be sure to stay tuned as the Bahamas Tonight continues.
My mom, naturally very warm and welcoming. She's very, very assiduous about peace, the ultimate peacemaker, and would go over and beyond, not only for peace in our family, but peace in any environment in which she worked.
Private Zoe Cumberbatch Maynard. WNC officer Private Zoe Cumberbatch was born in Port of Spain, Trinidad. In 1944, she enlisted in the British ATS. She was stationed at Garrison Headquarters Annex in Up Park Camp in Kingston, Jamaica. She also served as secretary to the area commander of the Bahamas Battalion in Nassau.
Well, my mother, when she came back, used all of her secretarial, those administrative skills, in her work, and she then worked with BOAC for the managing director of BOAC in the Bahamas, which is now, of course, BOAC was then what is now British Airways. And she taught typing and shorthand as well as an aside.
Private Cumberbatch, after her term of military service, returned to the Bahamas and later married the late Sir Clement T. Maynard, former Deputy Prime Minister and Minister of Tourism.
It's very important in today's world that is very polarized, not just in the Bahamas, but elsewhere in the world, to recognize that people made tremendous sacrifices for democracy, for us to live the way that we live and to have rights and responsibilities and civic duty and civic privileges. They, women, way back then, when it was not so fashionable for women to be on the front line, it was they that did it for us. So we should definitely honor that.
Coming up in the Bahamas tonight, the National Report, the Bahamas in the all clear. A high-level delegation assesses hurricane damage. A middle-aged man shot and killed. And in sports, basketball qualifier back on. The Bahamas tonight, the National Report starts now.
ZNS News is linked up by BTC. Whether it's chatting, gaming, content creating, or working smart to get things done, link up to stay connected with BTC.
Good evening, everyone. I'm Akush Lopinder, and welcome to the Bahamas tonight, the National Report. Thanks for tuning in. Some pretty tense moments in recent days, but Bahamians, particularly residents of Abaco and Grand Bahama, can breathe a collective sigh of relief today, having been given the all clear following Hurricane Nicole's pounding on its way to the Sunshine State of Florida. And while the Bahamas is said to have fared well, a high-level delegation was on the ground on Abaco today to conduct a full assessment. Our Desmond Saunders has all the details.
Hours after Nicole pounded Abaco with torrential rains and coastal flooding, the country's acting prime minister, along with key government officials, touched down here at the Leonard Thompson International Airport to assess the storm's impact.
No loss of life, no serious injuries. We fared well. God is good.
The Abaco Port, the Friendship Tabernacle Baptist Church, and the Central Primary School among major stops by Cooper and his team. While relieved that Nicole's fury was minimal, Cooper, hoping normalcy could return to Abaco's port and the Leonard Thompson International Airport, two major transport and commerce hubs impacted by Nicole.
We understand there was some flooding there at the port. The waters came over maybe about a foot and a half. And these are the kinds of things that now we see has happened during this particular storm. The engineers are here, and they can make recommendations as to how we can remediate that for the future. We continue to do repairs to the airport since Hurricane Dorian. We're pressing forward there. We're going to move the air traffic control tower to a different location. The professionals determined that it ought not be rebuilt where it is. So that's a project we're working on.
The acting prime minister promising some relief for Abaco and Grand Bahama residents impacted by the storm.
There will be some exigency orders made, whether it's in the form of the existing SIRS or whether it's adjusted. We are sensitive to the needs of both Abaco and Grand Bahama, but we want the adjustments to be very measured.
Cooper hoping to address concerns for housing and accommodations on the island of Abaco.
We've looked at some of the infrastructure here. There is need for some upgrades. Paulsec, Pinder, and Cornish have pointed out the need for additional investment in infrastructure. In addition to the port, there is an ever-pressing need for more housing. We still have some government employees, civil servants who are living in the trailers nearby the government complex. We know that we have been making significant efforts through the Ministry of Housing, Department of Housing, and my colleague Colby Davis has been doing a great work to really do PPPs. But being here today and seeing the number of persons who still live in the trailers Really, it's a reminder of the large quantity of housing required here, and the government will continue to put its efforts behind these initiatives.
Cooper says Nicole's impact on tourism has been minimal.
We know that many of the tourists did not leave. They made a calculation that this is just a tropical storm or Cat 1, and they stayed. God bless them. It's worked out well for them and for tourism. We are posting very, very strong numbers for tourism. I suspect that this year we are going to meet or exceed 2019 levels.
Over the next coming days, additional assessments will be carried out to determine the exact extent of the damage of Nicole. Desmond Saunders of Bahamas Tonight.
Well, thanks, Desmond. From Abaco, the acting prime minister and his delegation headed to Grand Bahama to conduct a similar exercise and to meet other government officials. Well, Minister Chester Cooper went on to thank local government and the multiple agencies for their leadership and support during the storm. We also got an update from the State Minister of Disaster Preparedness on the government's commitment to Grand Bahama and Abaco. Well, we can also tell you that a tour of hurricane-lashed Grand Bahama began at the western end of that island. With more on that angle, we turn now to a report from Azure Quant.
Just a few hours ago, parts of this causeway connecting West Grand Bahama to the city was submerged underwater, but now it is all cleared, as you can see. The Minister for Grand Bahama, the Honorable Ginger Moxey, Senators Kirkland Russell and James Turner, and a host of other officials all gathering here first to assess the damage caused by Tropical Storm Nicole. Slightly high winds, swells, and debris is what is left following then Hurricane Nicole's passage. Minister Moxey and officials making their way through the 8 Mile Rock community, visiting the administrator's office, and then transitioning into the West End settlement, noting that Grand Bahama fared well. The Emergency Operating Center was up and running during the storm, with several government agencies involved. Minister Moxey speaking to the importance of all the offices working together to ensure the safety of residents here on the island.
I believe we came together as normal to ensure that, first of all, our residents were safe. All agencies, other regulatory bodies, we came together in our EOC, and we were able to effectively navigate this system. Of course, having the weather department with the frequent updates was important. Being able to have ZNS and the other media assisting us with getting the word out there to the public to stay indoors and to actually evacuate in some areas. That was important. And so we're happy that, everyone came together really to ensure, first of all, that our people were safe.
West Grand Bahama was a major concern for those agencies, making it a focal point in the assessment tour. Administrator Ricardo Ferguson says the entire settlement is up and running and ready to move forward. The area sustained flooding, and both Minister Moxey and Administrator Ferguson say they are looking into a long-term solution for that issue.
We need to put in proper drainage so that what you see behind here, persons will not have to experience.
We also need to build additional sea walls. That is actually a part of the budget. And so we're focused really on resiliency.
Now, as you can see, the beautiful Grand Bahama team is already on the ground here in West End, cleaning up the debris left by Tropical Storm Nicole. For the Bahamas Tonight, I'm Azure Quant.
Well, meantime, the airports in Moores Island, Abaco, and Grand Bahama International, the only two airports to remain closed following Nicole's passage. Airport authority officials are assessing both facilities and are expected to provide an update once complete. We hear in this next report, Charles Fisher returned to Western New Providence to see how or if things had cleared up now that Nicole's out of here.
Even though not as ferocious, the seas were still behaving badly. Residents in the west could be seen shoveling away sand and debris from their homes. Workers from the Caves Point got an early start clearing the area and making sure for a smooth passage. This area that was yesterday littered with trees and stones and we had to use a big truck to get through has now been cleared. The seawall still unable to hold the water, but not as bad as Wednesday. One good sign was that the ships that had to be diverted were returning to Nassau. Another good sign was these gentlemen who was doing their civic duty.
We're just trying to help take some of the debris off the beach and off the roads so that cars and things wouldn't be any accidents or nothing. So that's what we're here doing today. Well, I'm doing it on my own right now.
When my cameraman Roscoe Gibson and I discovered this generous deed, the crew had been on the scene for at least half hour, basically getting lumber that washed ashore.
Well, this will be my first load.
And one thing you also got to do is watch for traffic, because people riding up and down this here like with no care and attention.
That's true. And they're doing too much speed.
Good to be getting back to normal. For the Bahamas Tonight, I'm Charles Fisher.
Now, social postings of comments, pics and videos all proof that quite a few of you ventured out to western New Providence yesterday to get a bird's eye view of Mother Nature's wrath as sand, rocks, seaweed, and in some instances even signage littered the street. But how will that sand be restored? Well, if you're like us and is wondering the same, listen into this report from our Jiminita Swain.
One of the things that Tropical Storm Nicole brought with it is, of course, storm surge. That storm surge leading to damage to a number of barriers at the beach here at Sanders Beach. As you can see, there is a trail of damage that will have to be repaired by Works and probably Public Parks and Beaches officials. However, Executive Director of the Bahamas National Trust, Eric Carey, fills us in on how important it is to replenish the beaches following storms such as this one.
Natural vegetation on beaches helps to hold it together. You know, we remove the casuarinas from a lot of our beaches and we plant native trees. Casuarinas don't hold the sand together. They have very shallow roots, and often in hurricane conditions they wash over and the beach erodes. When you have good intact vegetation, native vegetation, those roots go deeper, they hold the sand together. So even though you would have wave overwash, the sand and the beach, the dune stays in place.
And in the case of sand losses, Carey says natural defenses are key.
We prefer that we utilize natural systems like mangrove buffers, beach dunes that are built from native plants that the dune restores itself. So you have natural defense from the storm as opposed to depending on man-made defenses. But oftentimes we've impacted the beach so much that we don't have a choice but to put in seawalls. But you can see what's happened here is even though there is a seawall, this is now built back. This, you know, years ago before they put in the whale tails, I mean, the beach was literally right here and the water was there. Now you have a beach that's, 30 foot wide and you have vegetation that's coming.
Now, the storm surge has definitely subsided on the western portion of the island, but left behind is damage to the barriers on the beach. Mr. Gary indicates that the one thing that needs to happen is the sand that was washed away needs to be replaced following the passage of Hurricane Nicole.
What we've been encouraging the government to do, and I know it was done in the last storm event, is that the sand shouldn't be taken away, it should be put back on the beach. And if there is vegetation there, it'll grow, and we could help speed it up by doing some plantings. We've used NGOs, we've used citizen science, where the public gets involved. So put the sand back on the beach. Do some more plantings. Even you may not even need to plant. If you just leave it in place, nature will seed. If there, nature will regrow if there are native seeds already in place. But we could help it along by bringing in native plants. But native plants, natural systems, those are much preferred, and offer us a better defense against things like climate change, storms that are caused by that are made more intense by climate change. Natural systems are our best defense.
Jiminita Swain for the Bahamas Tonight.
Hurricane Nicole dumping rain before leaving the islands, but it doesn't take a system for low-lying communities like Pinewood Gardens to flood. The good news is just ahead of the storm's landfall, drains in that area were cleaned. Here's the area's Member of Parliament, Miles Laroda, with an update.
Yesterday, I was accompanied by Mr. Henry Moxie and his team from the Ministry of Works, and I could say that work started yesterday on Sapadilla and Jacaranda yesterday and continued to Sapadilla and Casarilla. This was planned a few weeks ago. There have been flooding in that area for the past few months, and so the oncoming storm made it even more of a desire to have those drains done. We did not know the impact of Nicole. So for those residents, I personally visited the site yesterday and today and actually saw workers working. That work will continue. There are some other drainage that needs to be cleaned.
This is Chief Meteorologist Basil Dane with a tropical weather update brought to you by BTC and CBS Bahamas. Nicole, now a tropical storm packing winds of 45 miles per hour, is some 40 miles just to the southeast of Tallahassee, Florida, moving towards the northwest at 15 miles per hour. Maximum sustained winds are expected to reduce later tonight, and Nicole is expected to become a tropical depression before shifting towards the north and then northeast and racing across Georgia tomorrow, and then it will merge with a frontal system, and that will be the end of the life cycle of Nicole. And elsewhere in the tropics, tropical cyclone development is not anticipated over the next 5 days. This has been a tropical weather update brought to you by BTC and CBS Bahamas.
You're watching the Bahamas Tonight, the National Report. There's more when we return.
This portion of the news was brought to you by Sun Oil Limited Shell, fueling journeys that matter.
It has the looks, the style, the performance. Your new car is everything you always dreamed of. Now it's here. Commonwealth Bank was happy to help put you behind the wheel with a new car loan at a competitive rate and fast, friendly approval. It's a service that just comes naturally to us, just like how love of tradition comes naturally to you. Commonwealth Bank, leader in personal banking services.
We just got the new fiber internet speed bump. Now my internet's so fast, I can watch 2 4K movies, play video games, and browse on my computer at the same time.
Yeah, my internet's so fast, I could download a whole season of shows before my noodles run cooking.
Mine's so fast, when I go to church online, service actually over early.
Mine's so fast, when I'm working from home, 5 o'clock, come before 3.
Sound like you got this BTC fiber internet speed bump like me.
But it's so fast, I had to have it.
Current fiber internet bundle customers now have as much as 3 times the speed, totally free. Link up with BTC.
We need to save.
Be happy! Save at KFC with the one-piece chicken box fill-up for only $5.95. Enjoy genuine savings and the genuine flavor of KFC chicken fried to golden perfection with crispy fries, a buttery biscuit, and an ice-cold Pepsi. Only at KFC Nassau.
Everybody should have a financial goal in their life. And it changes over time. It depends upon what is your age and where you are in terms of your life cycle. And in order to achieve what you want to do, you must have a plan. If you do not have a plan, 9 times out of 10, you're going to go astray.
Visit ourwacx.com or scan the QR code on the screen.
There's no better time than now to update the look of your home. Right now at Tile King, you'll save 20% on countertops and tiles, 15% on mosaics, and 10% on brick pavers. This amazing sale is happening right now at Tile King, located in the Builders Mall, number 69 Wolf Road. This sale has been extended and now ends November 19th. So come on down today so you don't miss out.
watch them grow, and make plans for them even before they're old enough to talk. You spend a lifetime of sacrifice to pave the way for their success and create a tomorrow you too can be proud of. Can you tell who is the investor? At Leno, we believe everyone who has ever put a penny aside for a future dream is an investor. If you're new to investing, Leno's financial experts stand ready to design plans based on your goals. Let's sit down and explore the options one-on-one and see how, together, we can make your dreams come true. Whether considering traditional investments like a new home, car, your own business, security in retirement, or your child's college fund, we take the confusion out of the process and make an investor out of you. Call 396-3225 for an appointment. Leno, your bridge to the future.
Not so good news in the local cryptocurrency world. Bahamas-based FTX's sale to cryptocurrency exchange Binance a bust. In an abrupt reversal, Binance pulled out of a deal to acquire its embattled rival FTX, noting the company's problems were beyond its control or ability to help. According to CNN, officials of the world's largest crypto exchange reviewed FTX's finances as part of the due diligence process and cited reports of mishandled customer funds and alleged U.S. agency investigations. FTX's CEO Sam Bankman-Fried confirmed as much in a tweet earlier this week, noting teams are working on clearing out the current withdrawal backlog, liquidity crunches, and covering all assets. Our attempts to obtain a comment from FTX on this latest move unsuccessful up to airtime. We did, however, receive a response from the Securities Commission, who in a statement noted that it has taken action to freeze the assets of FTX Digital Markets and its related parties. Furthermore, the Commission has suspended the registration and has applied to the Supreme Court for the appointment of a provisional liquidator. Now, that job has since been given to Brian Sims, KC. The statement adding that the powers of the FDM directors have been suspended and none of the company's assets, that of its clients or trust, can be transferred, assigned, or otherwise dealt with without the written approval of the provisional liquidator. There's the assurance that the Commission is working with the provisional liquidator to obtain the best possible outcome for FTX customers and other stakeholders. Well, a full day of debate ends with senators passing an amendment to the Value Added Tax Act. The proposed change, which still must get the Governor General's stamp of approval, is aimed at increasing the sum for a zero-rated supply of electricity from $300 or below to $400 or below per billing cycle. And now that the amendment is, well, on its way to becoming the case, an electricity bill under $400 per billing cycle per month will not be subject to VAT. Now, senators also today debated a resolution to increase the minimum wage. Leader of Government Business in the Senate, Economic Affairs Minister, Senator the Honorable Michael Alcides, says once the resolution's passed, workers falling within that category throughout the public sector will have accumulated amounts as of July 2022. In the case of minimum wage earners in the private sector, the increase kicks in January 2023.
This has come into effect the 1st of July 2022 for government workers and shall come into force the first day of January 2023 with respect to all other employees employed in any form of employment in the Bahamas. And we saw that in the last budget, 56 items of food had customs duties either completely eliminated or drastically reduced. We did the same for building supplies to promote construction, the same with incentives for home purchases and home construction. More recently, we expanded the number of items under price control, both in terms of food and in terms of medicine.
In other news this evening, the government and the private sector collaborating in an effort designed to develop a strategic regulatory framework for the Bahamas focused on e-mobility. It's a plan specifically aimed at transitioning from gas vehicles to electric ones here in the country. The initiative part of the government's Reconstruction, Resilience and Energy Sector program that seeks to reduce the carbon footprint in the country. And as all major car companies will reportedly switch to producing electric cars solely by the year 2035. In a one-day workshop at the NASA Training Agency earlier today, Financial Secretary Simon Wilson noted that as world trends change and manufacturers along with it, the country has to be prepared.
Is the government being proactive and say, let's develop the strategy because the market is changing? You know, we are concerned with the climate. Fossil fuel burn destroys the climate, we know that. This is just the government being prudent and say, let's develop the strategy, engage all the stakeholders. We had, this morning was the private sector, this afternoon the public sector, and let's work on the strategy going forward.
Well, members of the accounting profession using this week to re-energize and re-engage with their fellow colleagues at a conference hosted by the Bahamas Institute of Chartered Accountants, or BICA. President-elect Pertillo Albury says the conference served to provide accounting professionals with more information on topics affecting the industry, such as digital transformation, sustainability, valuation of digital assets, and carbon credits, which will be the new normal for the country in the years ahead. BICA is also taking steps to attract more young people to the profession in the midst of waning interest.
Our youth are now not as interested, so we have to make sure we put that compelling argument that we're still the profession of choice. Right now, because of the whole digital transformation, having a YouTube channel and monetizing it, and some of our youth now in this generation think that, you know, going that route and making more money quickly and not having to go through the rigors of the profession is the better route. But we still have to make the argument that this profession is still the right profession of choice.
Well, Foreign Affairs Minister, the Honorable Fred Mitchell, is in Washington, and on Wednesday he met with United States Secretary of State Antony Blinken and senior officials of the State Department. Accompanying Minister Mitchell was Bahamas Ambassador to the United States, His Excellency Wendell Jones, and other Bahamian officials. During the meeting, a wide range of issues on matters of mutual interest were discussed. Well, now time for the weekly poll question, and this week we're asking, is the government being fair with its new price controls? To participate, simply log on to our website, and that's www.znsbahamas.com, as well as any of our social media platforms to answer. That's all it takes. The poll's final results will be aired on Friday, and as always, thanks for participating. You're watching The Bahamas Tonight. There's more to come after this.
These are the government ministries and departments who want you to see the positive difference underway in the public service. During National Public Service Week, Career Fair Day held at the Mall at Marathon, an exhibition showcased opportunities available in the public service. Minister of State for the Public Service, Pierre Glover-Roll, said reform of the public service will include digitalization of all human resource management and document management processes. Training is also included.
The first new training initiative was launched a few months ago as we enrolled applicants in the Public Service Professional Engagement Program, also known as PSPEP. Trainees in the first two cohorts of the program are already receiving their one-year on-the-job training at various public and private sector organizations throughout the country. At the end of this 52-week training period, those who receive strong evaluations by their managers will be brought on as full-time public servants. So what does that mean? Everybody is not going to just be absorbed. It means that those who perform well, those who perform at their optimum, because we want to ensure that we're attracting the best and the brightest to the public service. At the end, these persons will be absorbed as full-time public servants and will be offered jobs within the public and, in some instances, private sector. The recruitment and placement of differently abled persons has been a great win for the PSPEP program.
For Ed Talk, I'm Vaughn Albury.
NBA League Pass is the coolest way to watch the hottest game there is. When threes rain down and superstars heat up. When clutch jumpers splash and your team is fire. You'll be there for up to 40 games a week. Any way you want to watch. NBA League Pass. Order now.
Global Learning Exchange can help make your education dreams a reality. Enroll now and your first course is complimentary. Sign up for a free information session today to learn more.
Get a merry makeover this Christmas from Scotiabank. Apply for a Scotia Plan loan to win a home renovation. This Christmas, unwrap the celebration. $3,000 for your home, new lamp, new decor, new couch that you
Win
own.
a $3,000 home goods gift card when you apply for a Scotia Plan loan this Christmas. We're giving you the gift of a low interest rate and up to 2 months with no payments. Plan the perfect Christmas with your Scotia Plan loan. Use it for any purpose, plus benefit from flexible payment terms. Apply for a Scotia Plan loan now to enter to win a merry home makeover.
A 53-year-old man is dead tonight after being gunned down outside his Cool Acres home after 9 last evening. For the details, we turn to officer in charge of the Criminal Investigation Department, Chief Superintendent Michael Johnson.
They met the lifeless body of a male who was lying just in front of an apartment building. He had what appeared to be gunshot injuries to the upper extremities. The EMS personnel were called. They examined his body and found no signs of life. Again, like always, I would first like to thank the public for their assistance in assisting us in closing 3 of the most recent murders that have occurred in New Providence. And we again appeal to members of the public, again, to please assist us. You can call us by calling CID 502-999-123 or Crime Tipsers. We would like your assistance in help finding the culprits that are responsible for these recent murders.
Well, where is Paige Williams? The question family members are asking, having not seen the 16-year-old since yesterday. At the time, she was at home. Police say Williams, a resident of Hamilton Road, Mount Pleasant, is dark-skinned, 5 feet 8 inches tall and medium build. Information on the teen's whereabouts should be passed on to the police. Well, the country will pause during Remembrance Day this Sunday, November 13th, to salute our veterans who served and sacrificed during World War II to protect the freedoms enjoyed today. Among those being recognized for selfless service is Comrade Henry Kellman. The 94-year-old served in Her Majesty's Royal Air Force 77 years ago as an aircraft engineer. He was based at the Oaksfield camp here in New Providence. Comrade Kellman is one of 4 remaining Bahamian World War II veterans registered with the British Legion Bahamas branch. He lives in Freeport, Grand Bahama, and is an active registered member of the British Legion Bahamas branch. Meantime, Corporal Carmel Jones Rickards served in Her Majesty's Royal Auxiliary Territorial Service, the female branch of the Royal British Army. She was one of 12 brave Bahamian women who served in this female platoon 77 years ago and was stationed at a garrison annex in the UP Park camp in Kingston, Jamaica. The 98-year-old lives in Kingston, Jamaica with her daughter. She is registered with and cared for by the British Legion Jamaican branch. A state-recognized funeral service to take place for former Seventh-day Adventist Church President and Royal Bahamas Defense Force Chaplain, the late Pastor Neville Emmanuel Scavala, on Friday, November 11th at Hillview Seventh-day Adventist Church on the Tonic-Williams-Darling Highway. The service begins at 11 a.m. Interment will follow in Woodlawn Gardens Cemetery, Soldier Road. Scovala's service will be broadcast live on the ZNS Radio Network.
Join up for life insurance. Secure the ones that you love. Join up with Family Guardian. We offer full protection. Join the family. Join the family. Family Guardian. Protect the ones you love. A friend that you can trust. Family Guardian. Tourism today. Bahamas tourism today.
Start your weekend with Pitmaster Jack Arnold at Ocean Club, a Four Seasons resort. The flavor-packed two-night affair will be filled with grilled delicacies and specialty cocktails, complement of Selva Ray rum.
Yeah, so this weekend is super exciting. We've got Jack Arnold coming over from North Carolina. He partners with Big Green Egg. We're bringing him down, partnering with Silver Ray to have a big festival and a big cook-off here at the Ocean Club. We're here to celebrate a little bit of the Bahamian culture and a bit of Bahamian lifestyle, so we're going to have some live music. We're doing like an elevated version of the Arawak Key cookout, so we're going to have some fried fish, some barbecue jerk chicken, a little conch station. So yeah, we're super looking forward to it. It's a good one for the rum lovers. We're partnering with Selva Ray, so we're going to have a spread of at least 4 or 5 cocktails. Of course, if you just like rum and coke, it's all to be had. So it's happening this weekend, Friday and Saturday here at the Ocean Club. If you need any more information, please do go to our website, check it out. Tickets are $150 for adults, inclusive of the alcohol and food, and $75 for children. So it's an all-you-can-eat style buffet. We've got different stations set up across the deck. We're going to have Wagyu beef, lobster, an Arawak Key station, some salads, desserts, of course, and then a nice baked Alaska for a finale. But like I said, it's an all-you-can-eat.
To purchase your ticket for this fiery Caribbean cookout, visit fourseasons.com/Ocean Club. I'm Danielle Bodie, and this is Tourism Today.
Good to go. Keeping you in the know. Keeping you in the know. God, if it's good enough to eat, then it's good to grow. If it's good enough to eat, then it's good to grow.
Acting Director for Local Government Neil Campbell has been busy rolling out the vision that he and Minister of Agriculture, Marine Resources and Family Island Affairs, Clay Sweeting, both had for local government when they served as practitioners. According to Campbell, many changes have already taken place since the appointment of a 16-member review committee. These changes bringing an air of excitement to the department.
I think we are all excited about it. We have two teams, one for the Northern Bahamas and one for the Central and Southern Bahamas. They've been going to the various districts and everything else, speaking with the persons, giving those questions and even advancing questions that we never even thought that may have been asked. And so far, it seemed to be energized. And I believe we're going to make a definite impact within those local communities.
The budget for several aspects of local government has been improved. Campbell says he believes a major win for local government practitioners will be when they are able to generate their own funds.
A lot of times, persons say you come up with a lot of ideas, but the ideas, in actuality, need to have some funding behind it. So he's looking at special funding as well, where they'll have some revenue-generating powers, where they could actually realize all of these ideas that they may have. Different islands have different concerns. Drainage, some may say fire engine, some will look at community centers. Some will just improve the surroundings. So once that comes into play, I assume a lot of the problems we had or would now exist will be no more.
A year later as acting director, Campbell says he's proud of the achievements and improvements he sees across the islands, and especially proud of the structure being put in place.
There is now an organizational chart within the department where everyone really and truly knows what their roles are and what is really expected of them. Before, we adopted a lot of things that caused a lot of crossover, a lot of confusion. And sometimes it caused some sort of friction. So now with bringing the organizational chart, we now have that structure where everybody knows where we're at, what the responsibilities are.
Keeping you in the know with Good to Grow, I'm Giorgio Bain.
Shell Unleaded improves your fuel economy, giving increased miles per gallon, allowing you to do more of what you really want. Special additives used in Shell Unleaded improve your engine's efficiency. So go further with Shell Unleaded. Venture out to beaches, Junkanoo, and festivals and bring home memories that will last a lifetime. Shell, fueling journeys that matter.
Veteran fisherman and Andros native Prescott Smith, known as the godfather of the flats and a strong voice in the fight for the country's natural resources, for over 30 years, has received the prestigious Gladding Award at the Destin Fort Walton Beach Convention Center in Florida. Smith says he's hoping to use the award and relationships from it to promote a conservation model that will empower more Bahamians. Congratulating Smith on the award was Minister of the Environment and Natural Resources, the Honorable Vaughn Miller, who described the veteran fisherman as a profound fisher, advocate, and influential conservationist. Well, it's time now for a check on Family Island weather with Chief Meteorologist Basil Dean. Good evening, Basil.
Good evening, Makisha. We're under mostly cloudy skies. The temperature at 80 degrees, relative humidity 75%, south-southwest winds at 13 miles per hour. The barometric pressure 1,016.3 millibars, is 29.89 inches, and the pressure is rising. Temperatures around the Family Islands this evening, they are brought to you by Family Guardian Insurance Company. We're protecting you. 79 degrees in Freeport, Grand Bahama, Green Atoll, Key, and Marsh Harbour, Abaco. The Berry Islands at 83 degrees. Islands down Bimini, 79. 83 degrees in Harper Island and Roxanne, Eleuthera, Black Point, Exuma, Kemps, Bayside, Andros, and Fresh Creek in Central Andros, all at 79 degrees. 84s in Otterstown, Cat Island, San Salvador, and Rumkey, Georgetown, Exuma, 85 degrees. 83s in Ragged Island, Clarence, Long Island, and Crooked Island. Betsy Bay, Maguana, 82. Also, Ackland's at 82 degrees. Matthew, Tanyanago, 83. And the Turks and Caicos Islands at 84 degrees. And your boating forecast tonight is brought to you by Builders Mall, home of FYP, the Tile King, and the Paint Center. In the northwestern islands, the winds are going to be southeast to south at 10 to 15 knots. The wave heights 4 to 6 feet with moderate sea swells. High tide takes place at 8:59 tonight. Now, for the central and southeastern islands, winds southeast at 10 to 15 knots. The wave heights 2 to 4 feet. And as we take you into tomorrow, Friday, the winds become southerly at 10 to 15 knots, wave heights 2 to 4 feet, and we'll continue to have some moderate swells tomorrow as well. High tide takes place at 9:22 in the morning with a low tide at 3:54 in the afternoon in the central and southeastern islands tomorrow. Southeast winds once again at 10 to 15 knots, and the wave heights 2 to 4 feet. And then on Saturday, the winds become southwest at 10 to 15 knots. This is for the northwestern islands. Wave heights 2 to 4 feet. High tide on Saturday, 10:04 in the morning with a low tide at 4:37 in the afternoon. And in the central and southeastern islands on Saturday, southeast once again at 10 to 15 and the wave heights 2 to 4 feet. That's going to do it for your boating forecast. It's time now for your international temperatures, and they are brought to you by Royal Star Assurance. That's going to do it for your international temperatures, brought to you by Royal Star Assurance. But stay tuned, your extended weather forecast is still ahead.
At Solomon's, we're all about family. We believe in quality brands and giving you what you need and more for every occasion. Our store is filled with items for the entire family, celebrating everyday living for you and those you love. Shopping is now more rewarding than ever with My Solomon Smart Rewards. Shop Solomon's because family matters.
On Almost every journey starts with your car. We spend most of the early stages of our lives anticipating getting our first set of wheels. When that moment finally comes, let AID be there for all your auto needs. Make it yours by accessorizing, maintaining, and repairing your car with AID. Whether you're a professional mechanic, a recent graduate, a full-time mom, or an I can fix that kind of guy. Or if you're completely clueless about what your car needs, AID will assist in providing a large variety of auto parts, a diagnostic center, and great customer service. For all life's auto journeys, we're here. AID, all you really need and more.
Comfort Suites Paradise Island is the best kept secret in the Bahamas. Located directly next door to the Atlantis Resort, you'll receive all the privileges of an Atlantis guest with all the benefits of a Comfort Suite stay. Enjoy everything Atlantis has to offer, including Aquaventure Water Park, plus all the amenities of Comfort Suites. Free Wi-Fi, free breakfast daily, and kids stay, play, and eat free. Visit ComfortSuitesPI.com.
Are you a contractor or new homeowner? Maybe you need a few pieces of lumber for your DIY projects. Welcome to Capital Lumber, the newest building materials company in the Bahamas. Located on Parkgate Road, Nassau, helping you to maximize your savings on lumber, cement, shingles, tools, and much more. Your one-stop shop for all your building essentials. With free delivery to the mail booth, visit us today. Capital Lumber, build strong.
Link up with BTC and call it one and done. Link up with BTC and call it one and done.
Let me just say, welcome home, Samir.
It's a pretty big night for us here at BTC as Prime Minister Philip Davis and his wife, along with members of the executive, legislative, and judicial branches of government, joined our parent company, CWC, our BTC board members, as well as senior members from BTC and tons of other dignitaries for the official welcome corporate reception for our newly minted CEO, Samir Bhatti.
Yeah, well, I'm here to welcome him to the Bahamas, back home, really. And I'm very pleased to know that we have a Bahamian at the helm and who understands and sensitive to our culture and our needs. And I'm very heartened by the fact that BDC has expressed so much confidence in the Bahamas through their investments. I noticed that they're expanding the employee base, and so I'm very pleased about that. I just want to say to BTC, keep on keeping on. And we have to be careful, not careful, because efficiency, effectiveness in growing this economy is dependent upon the manner in which we communicate. And so BTC and our communications network is necessary to continue on our path of growth.
We've gotten all the formalities out the way, and it is a party after all, so now it's time to hit the dance floor. These are still the moments that move us. I'm Corval Pyfrom. Be well and be back here next. BTC Connection.
Link up with BTC and call it one and done. Link up with BTC and call it one and done.
The Sports Report is brought to you by Hoop Fest in Paradise, December 16th to the 17th at the Kendall G. Isaacs Gym. The best in U.S. and Bahamian high school basketball.
Good evening, everybody. This is Sports Thursday. I'm Charles Fisher. Tonight was supposed to be the night the Bahamas men's national basketball team would have tipped off against Panama in the FIBA Americas World Cup qualifier. But due to the passage of Tropical Storm Nicole, FIBA officials allowing that game to now be played Friday, 8 o'clock, right here at the Kendall G.L. Isaacs Gym. Team Bahamas able to get in some players to hold a practice Wednesday night at the gym. Not all the big names in, like in the past, but named to the team 242, Eugene Bain, Jerron Cornish, Godfrey Roll, Kempsey Sylvester, L.J. Munnings, Abel Joseph, Ronnie J. Alcadot, Dwight Colby, his brother Kadeem Colby, David Nesbitt, and Jerron Keno Burris. Coach is Moses Johnson.
Most of the guys are in. We're expecting a few more. I think we're optimistic about our hopes, our chances against Panama and Argentina. We're going to use these next 2 days to really hone down and lock in. We don't have much time, so we have to get to work and make every second count. But I feel optimistic about our chances, and I'm sure that this team, and once they develop some cohesion over the next few days, we'll be able to come out victorious. Team is shaping together good. We had some hiccups. You know, this hurricane really threw us for a loop. Some of our guys' flights were canceled, but hey, I believe in destiny, and I believe that God has designed everything for this time. And if this team is who it is, this is who it's supposed to be.
Johnson wanting the stands to be full of aquamarine, black and gold.
You're the sixth man, and so you are backing, you are cheering corner, and you urge us on. The victory when times get hard. We look in the crowd and you shouting Bahamas, you shouting Go Team Bahamas. It means a lot for us, so we ask you to come out, and we're looking for everybody to show their support. These guys will be ready. Coaching staff will be ready. We want you to be ready and show up here on Friday and Sunday.
On hand to watch Team Bahamas work out was the Minister of Youth, Sports and Culture, the Honorable Mario Boleg, a former national team head coach.
These guys just got in earlier today, and, you know, they have a game on Friday, the first game on Friday, next game on Sunday. So we're just happy to know that the Federation would have been able to get some of these guys because of the hurricane. Some were not able to travel. Flights were canceled. Heading in this direction, and so right now I think they got about 8-9 players here. You got 2 more coming in from Abaco, and so we all know that once this time of the year with all countries, the NBA players are not here. But we want the Bahamian people to come out and watch this team on Friday and Sunday, 8 p.m. on Friday. I still think we have a very good team that compete. Normally history has shown, and during my time of coaching, and even now, I still believe that we have a great chance of beating Panama in the first game. We normally compete with them very well, and has beaten them in the past. And so I'm looking forward to a very good game on Friday. The tougher game should be against Argentina on Sunday. But still, yeah, they lost some players. We lost some players from the last matchup and the last window. So I think that with Coach Clark and Coach Moses Johnson, they should be able to put a game plan together that could compete. And the Bahamian people are happy to know that we stand a chance to win either both or one of the games.
Well, the Bahamas are about to be the basketball capital of the world. As college basketball, Battle for Atlantis is set to come on our shores and is right around the corner.
This is actually the 11th year for the men's tournament, where we have an ultra-competitive field featuring top teams, 8 of the top teams in college basketball, including the Kansas Jayhawks national championship team. So we are excited for the men's tournament to kick off November 23rd through 25th, and we are extra excited to bring back the women's tournament this year, which kicks off the 19th of November. And again, we have a competitive field of 8 powerhouses, including UCLA and Texas on the women's side. So it's going to be an ultra exciting tournament, all televised on the ESPN family of networks. And you can expect just great basketball, good fun, and to really see these college athletes do their best.
And the government secondary schools resuming their softball and baseball season earlier today at the Blue Hills Field. Makeup games being played today and tomorrow. As for the private schools, they will resume their championship next week, Monday at Freedom Farm. All games will start from the first inning. So I'll see all of you tomorrow right here at the Kendall Geologic Gym as the Bahamas takes on Panama in the FIBA World Cup qualifier. Bring out all your whistles, cowbells, horns, and drums. We're going to make some noise and give Team 242 the W. Thanks for watching, everybody.
The Sports Report was brought to you by Hoop Fest in Paradise, December 16th to the 17th at the Kendall Geologics Gymnasium, the best in U.S. and Bahamian high school basketball.
Hey, it's your honorary pump attendant here to educate you on the do's and don'ts at the service station. Here's what you don't do. Do not pull up from the pump without first checking that the nozzle has been removed from your car. Because if you pop this, that's about $600,000 to $30,000 to replace. These things ain't cheap. What you want to do is make sure that the nozzle has been removed, or just wait for the universal sign, which is the double tap.
I've been blown away. Totally love the vibe to really be able to lead this process. I feel a great sense of gratitude around being able to have Shelly to be here with us.
This event was one that you had to be here.
You know, any time that I am able to spend time with especially young women who have aspirations and things they want to achieve, it is just always wonderful. So this has been a terrific experience today.
Throughout our lifetime, we must all make decisions. No matter how we choose, the right one just needs to be made. Like having J.S. Johnson Insurance Agents and Brokers as your insurance partner. We've been serving the Bahamas for over 100 years. Whether you need home, motor, marine, or commercial insurance, make the right decision. Call 397-2100 or visit jsjohnson.com.
JS Johnson Insurance. Peace of mind.
Welcome to the Cable Bahamas Business Solutions Cybersecurity Tip of the Day for default credentials. Default passwords exist with almost every operating system and application. Point number 1, check the default passwords on all hardware and software and change passwords immediately. Test the credentials to see if they are still valid. When changing passwords, make sure that the new password is strong, unique, and stored securely. Remember, stay safe, stay informed, and stay protected.
Time now for weather.
In our final look at weather on our satellite picture, you can see a tropical storm on Nicole. There's wobbling there just to the southeast of Tallahassee. It's backing winds of 45 miles per hour, but we expect further weakening later on tonight, or at least during the early morning hours, where Nicole is expected to become a tropical depression, then turning north and then northeast, racing off towards the northeast across Georgia, where it will merge with a frontal system, and that will be the end of the life cycle of Nicole. Feeder band working out of Nicole will continue to provide passing showers during the course of the night in the northwestern Bahamas, and our forecast for tonight calls for mostly cloudy with a couple of showers. 76 degrees will be a low temperature, and tomorrow we're looking at mostly sunny and a bit on the warm side. 84 degrees for your high temperature, and extended weather forecast for the next 7 days. Pretty nice weather tomorrow. Possibly an isolated shower in the afternoon on Saturday, drying out as we head into Sunday in the early part of next week. And those daytime temperatures, they're going to be anywhere between the low and mid 80s, and the nighttime temperatures, they will reside in the mid 70s for the next 7 days. Make it sure.
Well, thanks, Basil. And before we leave, motorists wading through water-filled roads as a result of Nicole. Charles Fisher speaks with a leading mechanic on the effects of water damage to a vehicle.
Some motorists tested their vehicles to the fullest driving through drenched roads. This is not something new we have seen and tends to be the trend among some. Dwight Campbell from Riders Auto Express says this is a no-no.
One of the first things you must realize, in particular with these new cars in particular being from 2000 and above, all of them have the computer. So the computer sends all the signals to the vehicle, and that's electronic. So if you drive through the rain, through the flood, in any particular length of speed, what's going to happen is that it's going to get into the electrical part of the car, which is going to send a signal, a short signal to the computer, which has a potential of breaking down the whole car stopping.
The scenario worsens when driving near the shoreline and salt water is involved.
So what's going to happen is that when the salt dry, is that the corrosion is going to stay on that part. So in most cases, it'll be best to wash those suspension part down. But you don't have the same luxury for the electrical part. You can't put water on the electrical part to wash it down. So what's going to happen, you have to replace it. And in some cases, based on the value of the computer of the car, it might worth more than what the car itself is valued.
One recommendation, if you have to drive through water, do so at a slow pace as to not affect the computer and electrical components, and this can have a long-term effect.
Corrosion sets in, it's like a cancer. It sets in over a period of time. So if you don't address it, for instance, if you don't address the suspension part of it, if you do not address the electrical part of it, eventually it would have a negative impact on the car.
So you say you may be riding your car today and everything okay, but later on down the road, a different story.
Because the electrical part of the car doesn't agree with water at all. Water and that just doesn't mix. It's like oil and water. Electrical and water is going to short out and cause some issues with the vehicle. You drive it right now, then later on down, maybe a couple of days, couple of weeks, maybe a couple of months. Then when you look and say, you know something, all the corrosion. So it's the corrosion actually caused the big issue for the vehicle. The suspension and the electrical part, eventually, if it's not corrected, will cause an issue.
Just some words of advice for some of you motorists out there. For the Bahamas Tonight, I'm Charles Fisher.
Well, some really good advice there, Charles. That does it for the Bahamas Tonight. Thank you for continuing to make ZNS your first choice for news and information. Only the sun covers the Bahamas better than ZNS. And from all of us here at ZNS, thank you for watching and good night.
It's electric.